What's up, everybody? I hope you can see me well here. I think that's better, right? What's going on? Happy Mother's Day to every mom out there. I put out a post yesterday and I feel like, you know that saying, it takes a village, right, to raise a child. So we got to big up the moms, the aunties, the cousins, friends. We got to big up all of the, hey, what's up? All of the individuals out there who are trying to become moms, women out there who are, first time moms, 10 times moms, we got to big up all of them. All of the women out there, you know what I mean? And remember that yesterday was Mother's Day, but of course, you want to make sure that you're celebrating your mom and the women in your lives every single day. What is going on, Metro Mix? How are you? Yeah, so you guys want to make sure, just like Father's Day and just like every other day, we got to celebrate our kids as well. We want to make sure we're celebrating each other on a full level every single day. We shouldn't wait till these certain special occasions come on. What's up, Jamila? Certain special occasions come on that we are celebrating people. So we just want to show that love every day, right? So yes, of course, today's the 10th. So if you're looking for our May challenge, I have so much things on my hands right now. I am not doing a May challenge. I know it's crazy, right? So I'm going to be doing another challenge to change in June. So look out for that in June 10th to 20th. I'll be doing another challenge. Right now, I'm really trying to get everything organized for the international summit that we are doing May 22nd. Very excited about that. So I want to shout out Jamila because she's going to be on the panel. I want to shout out, who else do I have on the panel? Lorenzo. I have Rafiat. I have Simba, Amran, Faith. I have Jodianne, Michelle, Natalie, Tyrell Smith, Sose Picasso, The Dying Thief. I've got a whole list of different individuals who are going to be on the panel. So big up yourself. Make sure that you guys are sharing that flyer. If you're looking to share different ways people can enter, make sure that they are entering and showing support by, I can't wait either, I'm so excited. But we've got some prizes, so if you guys share that, let them know. If they share the poster, they hashtag it, they'll get entered into a special draw for some good giveaways. So we're excited about that. Of course, we have our phenomenal advertisers that are coming to support the event as well. Sweetness Boutique that just jumped in the building. And yes, Sweetness, I just have to let you know, everywhere I go with those masks, people are like, wow, oh my gosh, such a nice mask. Where'd you get that? So, you are all over the streets right now. I'm telling you, I've been promoting that. I love those masks. Everybody loves them too. But Sweetness Boutique is definitely going to be supporting the event. As an advertiser, we have KSM Elegance. We have Soft Stones. I see Nakaya in the building. Nakaya, I am big on your products. I have to order some. I actually want to order some online. So I'm going to go and try to see if I can order some online. I have, I think, one more bar of soap left, so I need to order some soaps. So let me know what you have coming up if you have anything new, but also let me know. Looking for mango butter. I think I was waiting for that mango butter because that's the one I wanted. So you guys got to check out Soft Stones as well. She is definitely going to be a part of our advertising. We have Jody's face bar, makeup, all sorts of beautiful things. You guys want to check out her Instagram. Ryan's Lions Books, he was on here just a couple of weeks ago, so check out the live that we did with him and check out his book, Father and Son Duo. Great, phenomenal couple of individuals who are just doing great things. So he's going to be as an advertiser as well. We have Michelle Romeo from Your Wellness Factor to be an advertiser as well. Definitely want to check out her t-shirt. She does, nice proactive, pro-black, sayings on t-shirts, positive sayings, great for adults and kids. Love it. So she's going to be on the panel as well. And KSM just jumped in the chat too. So as I mentioned, she's going to be on the panel as well. As an advertiser, she's going to be helping to support us as well for the event. We have the Period Purse, who's here in Toronto. They support women who are underprivileged. They support women who are homeless. They support women who are just teens, anything to do with and around the menstrual cycle. They are going to help us to advertise or help us with the advertising as well. So do some advertising that day. Pain Free Period. You guys remember the great conversation we had with Pain Free Period. I believe she's from Alabama. Don't quote me, but she check out the chat that we did on IGTV. She's so knowledgeable in just the cycle, the difference between a cycle and a period, the whole thing. You know what I mean? And they have pads and that are definitely something that we wanted to try to see if we can get here in Ontario. It's going to take a big amount of individuals for us to put together to bring the purchase here, because they just don't ship to Canada yet. They're getting there. So if you guys check out the chat, check out her page. If you're interested in ordering any pads, just let me know, because I'm trying to put a list of individuals together so we can get that order brought here to Canada. And She Is Magazine. She was on our panel for February winter edition. Super excited to have Sierra just supporting the event. She's phenomenal. She Is Magazine. It's an online magazine. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely want to make sure that you guys, look into that magazine. Something that it's easily downloadable. It's not too expensive. It comes out, I believe, once a month. And since we had her on the panel, she now does He Is Magazine. So she features a bunch of different individuals who are doing phenomenal things in the States as well. Right? Yes, we have to make sure that you guys are registering for A Seat at Our Table. You could click the link in my bio. You can go to A Seat at Our Table and click the link there, and then you guys are good to go. But so make sure that you guys register. Make sure you try to hashtag it, all that good stuff, and then join us that day, May 2nd. It is going to be phenomenal day. We have these live performances. We have three live performances. It's just going to be off the chain. But without further ado, we have our special guest in the building, Shacy. What's going on, girl?
Hey, sorry for my delay. I had an issue with my tripod, so I had to break out my Big Daddy because I was using my smaller one.
You're kind of chipping in and out. I can't hear you properly. Let's see what happens. Hello. Hello.
Is that better?
It's a little bit better. I can hear you, but it's kind of going oh, there we are. I think you're back. You're good.
Is it better?
Yes, it's better now. We're good.
Okay. So my apologies for being tardy. I had some issues with my tripod. So I had to break out my Big Daddy.
Oh, that's okay.
Apologize for being late though. I hate to be late for anything. Sorry.
That's okay. We're just here chatting away. So introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are and what you do.
Sure. Hello everyone. My name is JC. I'm based out of New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm a mompreneur, mother of 2 boys, guardian of a niece. Recently started into this entrepreneur world during the pandemic, ironically. I've always been a 9-to-5 worker, but you know how when God tells you to do something, you run from the call and you're like, nah, that's not what God is saying. But one of the things that he did during the course of the pandemic was he gave me more time because I've always been a worker. I'm a single parent, so I got to make my money. So I've always been like, I have to work. Work. And during the course of the pandemic, he slowed me down in the sense of I was able to work from home. With that, I could do my work and then focus on other things. And so decided I was bringing my kids to the mall, back to school shopping, decided to take an affirmation. I believe in the power of words. Like every morning I speak over myself. I command my day. I speak over my children and anyone who's connected to me. And so that particular day, I decided to take that affirmation and put it on a t-shirt. I had been having the equipment, was like, I'm gonna get around to doing it, never got around to doing it. Decided to put it on a t-shirt, wore it to the mall, and I had like 7 women come up to me asking me, where did I get my shirt? And so, of course, I'm just like, oh, I just threw it on there. And they were like, well, do you have a site? How can I buy? And I was like, well, honestly, I don't sell them, but. And so one of the ladies was like, well, you should, because I want one. So I drove home that day and I'm like, God, is this a new business? Like, are you trying to force me into it? And so I just decided to do it. And so one of the things that I do is I have a line of statement t-shirts. And it basically I speak from a woman's perspective because I'm a woman. And I also speak from an African American perspective because I'm African American. And so they've been doing really well. I have all of my information in bio, and we'll talk more about it. But one of the things that I do is I'm all positive, all motivation, and so one of the things that God does is that He'll take your passion and your purpose and align it with a paycheck. And I've always been like I'm the motivator in my circle of friends. So God just allowed me to speak to different people, and He's opened so many doors with speaking engagements and just things like that. So I'm walking in my purpose, and it's also my passion. And ironically, God has turned that into one of my paychecks. And so, for the most part, that's who I
That's great. That's great, man. So what was the t-shirt? What did it say?
am. It said, God. It's Bible scripture. God is within me, which means I will never fail. And I hashtagged it, I am her and she is me. And so, yeah, that was the one. That was just an affirmation I spoke over myself that day. That was my scripture and my affirmation for the day. And I put that on the shirt. That's one of my best sellers, but I have another one. And it says, Dear sis, it's time to manifest that ish. And so that ish means your vision, your goal, your dream, whatever God has given you, like now is the time to do it. And so my t-shirts the statements on my tees are tees that I tell myself. And that's how it's not about just selling a buck. Like this is personal for me because the things that I tell other people at some point I've had to tell it to myself. And so I just started taking those things that I tell to myself and I put them on the shirt. And it could be for anyone. Like if you have a dream, you have a goal, whatever you want to do, like now is the time to manifest it. Like why is it not the time? Like for me, the pandemic showed me that you can't take advantage and say, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow, I'll get to it later, because a lot of people who said that, they are no longer here. So because you don't know how many more tomorrows you have, why not start it today instead of pushing it off till tomorrow? And one of the things that I was talking to one of my friends, and I've heard it before, but when she said it, it just resonated in my spirit. And she said, there's so much potential in the graveyard. You don't want yours to go to waste. And so like that just stuck with me. And so now I'm just on this journey, y'all, that God is within me. I can't fail. I had to remind myself of that because for so long I said, I can't do that. I can't do that. Like, oh no, it won't work for me. Why can't I do it? Why? If God says I can do all things through Him who gives me strength. So, yeah, I just
Right.
statements my pep talks. If you go through my page, you'll see sometimes I put up posts and you know how the new cliche thing is. I don't know who needs to hear this. I be needing to hear it myself. So I just share it with y'all today. I sent a motivational text message to subscribers, and you guys are welcome to join in. There's a link in my bio. It's absolutely free. I send out a motivational text message every day, and I always tell them, because you're able to, if it speaks to you, you're able to respond. It's a regular text messaging app, and so sometimes people will respond. And they're like, "Oh, you were talking to me, like you." I said, girl, I had to tell it to myself first. I was sitting on my own sofa. God just told me to share it with you. And that's just, one of the things that I do. But you guys are welcome to join. Like I said, there's a link in my bio. I have a free 5-day affirmation. I believe in the power of words. I've already said that. But if you sign up to my email list, you get a free ebook, 5 days of affirmation. There's also the free text messaging app that's and you guys can sign up for that. I mean, one of the things about me, we all have issues in life, things happen, but our words have so much power. And so I just try to keep speaking those things. But yeah, sorry, I'm a talker, so forgive me.
That is good. No, that's powerful. There's definitely a lot of power in the tongue, so it's important to make sure that we're using that wisely.
Yes, definitely.
So how, I mean, you talk about your faith. How big does a role does your faith play in everything for you?
Oh, God, it's major. Like, I'll be honest with y'all. Like, some of the things, I'm going to sit this down because it's a bit uncomfortable. I'm in my garage. I'm usually in my workstation, but I'm in my garage. So, again, I apologize. But, this is just me being personal. I'll be completely honest. Like, had it not been for my faith, um, I probably would have been crazy a long time ago. I always say that my faith in God has kept me in my belief, in changing the narrative for the sake of my children is another thing that has guided me. It's one thing when you grow up in the church and your parent, whomever has to drag you to the church house. But for me, as an adult, I'm proud of the fact that I went willingly. And the way that God did it was when I went back to Christ, it was 2 weeks prior to my mom's passing. And so God knew that I would need him in order to get through that. And so for the past, my mom has been dead for 12 years. So for the past 12 years, this is a faith relationship that I have yearned for, that I have needed, because every day isn't an easy day. But every day I just try to get up and just believe that in spite of, it sounds cliche, but in spite of what's going on, in spite of whatever animals that I'm facing, that God will get me through. And so my faith for me has been monumental in me overcoming a lot of the things that I've had to overcome. And so it's huge for me.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Wow. Very, very powerful. So you also talk a lot about, positive words, healthy mindset. Talk about a healthy mindset. How important is that for us to have?
Well, healthy mindset is another thing that's vital. I always believe that your outlook on a situation determines the outcome of a situation. And so if you look at it in a negative aspect, then you're going to get negative in return. But if you take that mustard seed faith that's referenced in the Bible and just a glimmer of hope, um, to get you through, then you'll get through it. If you have the belief and not only who you are, but who God is, um, your mindset is key. Like, you have to have a positive mindset. I don't know if I would be able to have overcome the things that I have overcame had I not kept a positive mindset. And don't get me wrong, y'all, I'm being totally honest. I take hits, I take losses, I fall, but every time I just have to believe that if I stay here, then how do I get to what God has for me? And all of that is in my mind. I can easily stay down and be a victim, but I have to believe in my mind that God is going to give me that victory. So mindset is important in accomplishing anything in life and getting up every day. I mean, like I said, we all have problems. We got bills, we got kids, we have mates, we have businesses, we have all kind of obligations, not only to ourselves but to the people around us. But we can either wallow in self-pity, or we can get up and be like, you know what, in spite of it all, I'm a win. I'm a win. And so mindset is
It's huge, huge, definitely. And then, of course, healthy mindset goes with a healthy lifestyle. And you're doing both of them in combination. You've got this fitness journey going on. Talk to us about your
oh
fitness.
yeah. I'll say this. One of the things that happened to me about 3 years ago. So like 3 years ago, we're in 2021. So in 2018, like, I had a series of illnesses. I went to the doctor. I was under a lot of stress. My job was stressing me the heck out. And so I went to the doctor and I had already diagnosed myself. I'm like, I know what it is. It's stress, whatever, it's stress. Well, in the course of that visit, I found out that I had pneumonia. I had a mass in my chest, and maybe about 2 or 3 weeks later, I would find out that it was a thyroid issue. So I had all these health scares. And so my mom died when I was 27. I'm a grown woman, of course. But at the time, my children were like, I want to say like 16 and 8. And so I
Mm,
didn't leave my children. And so for the past 3 years, I had always battled with weight, always would be up, be down, be fluctuating weight, health issues, hypertension, borderline A1C, which is borderline high A1C, which is borderline diabetic numbers. And so I just made a decision
mm,
that, those issues stopped with me. That ran in my family. My mom died at 45. My grandmother died at like 47. But I told God and myself that it stopped with me. And so I've just been on a journey to just be healthy. Like you said, the mindset, um, and the physical. But I personally believe that what's in you comes out of you, right? And so because
mm.
I had a healthy mindset, it allowed my physical part to get in line with that. So I just started working on that, and I've just been consistent. I listen, y'all look at the pictures, you might see a post, but your girl still like her junk food. I just don't do it as much. I have those moments. I with anything, I just do it in moderation, because I feel like if you quit something cold turkey, you go back to it, you'll overindulge. So if I want a chocolate covered almond, I eat it. If I want a chip, I eat it. But I try to get that physical aspect, because exercising is a hell of a stress reliever. I tell you that. I love it for that.
Yeah.
And it's therapeutic.
Mhm.
It's, I promise you.
Yeah.
But that's because my mindset sees it a different way. If you see exercising as work, 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 then you're not going to want to do it. Or if you see it as punishment, you're not going to want to do it. But for me, that's my therapy. Now, I do have a therapist, and we can talk about that too.
Mhm.
But that's my everyday therapy. My everyday therapy is the gym. I promise you. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then so you're in the gym and like how long do you go for? Like an hour,
Yeah,
half an hour?
and maybe like an hour and a half. Uh, anything over
Wow.
anything over an hour and a half is usually when I work out with someone else. But for the most part, I'm trained in my routine, and I also try to switch it up. So I do the gym, but I also try to run the park, because that running the park is another monument for me. In the weight loss community, they call it a non-scale victory. And I shared this with my family that when
Mm,
I first started exercising, I remember that it would take me like an hour to do about 4 laps, which equates to maybe like 2 miles. But now I'm able to run 5 miles in like an hour and 15 minutes. And so that's what that's my comparison, is me versus me. It's not me being better than anyone else. It's about me competing against myself, because that allows me to keep going and set new goals and new chapters, because for so long I was complacent in my life. And so now the standards that's set is that I don't want to get comfortable, where I'm grateful, totally grateful, but I know that God has more for me. And so I just try to push myself to be better. Mhm.
definitely, definitely. That's phenomenal. Big up yourself on that because it's huge to actually push yourself to do that. Getting in the gym, doing over an hour and then switching it up too. Like consistency is key to everything. So
That's it.
good for you.
But listen, that's a key point. And for somebody on here, that within itself is a word. Consistency is key in everything. And if you apply that level of consistency across the board in all aspects of your life, you have no choice but to be successful. There's no other option but to win, because every day you're getting back up and you're going at it. Yeah, it knocked you down yesterday, but hey, I'm getting back
Yeah.
up today, and that's important.
Yeah, that's huge. So what's up, Rashad? Rashad is in the chat and he's talking about therapy as well. Therapy for me was going to a trauma hospital. So therapy for everybody, I think, is different, but it's definitely important to make sure that you're getting the assistance that you need. So you were talking about therapy as well, right?
Yes, so I definitely have a therapist. Uh, I'm faith-based. I have a relationship with God, but I always say that I have to give a shout out to God and my Black therapist, because those two work hand in hand. And it allows me, you know, and well, I don't, in our community, I feel like therapy has been associated with negative things, you know, like, oh, you go to therapy, you
Mm.
crazy, oh, you this, you that. And for so long,
Yeah.
I had been dealing with different things. And because I come from a faith-based family, and most of my friends, you know, are of Christian religion, you know, people always tell you, you know, girl, give it to God, go pray. And so, in that
Yeah.
rationale, I used to take that on. But then I had to be honest with myself and those around me and say, okay, what happens after you didn't give it to God? You didn't pray, you didn't tarry, you didn't fast it, but you still don't feel how you should feel. And so, in doing that, I had a friend who was in therapy, and I saw the transition in her, and I was like, I need that. And so you know, she gave me therapist information. And for the past, this was 3 years ago when I got sick, after, you know, dealing with my sickness. Um, I've been in therapy, and it helps me to keep a level head. It helps me to balance. And for if you're like me, I would never share how I used to be. I would never share my feelings because I didn't want people to talk about my business. I didn't want people to look down on me. And, you know, I was kind of ashamed that I was dealing with some of the things that I was dealing with. But for me, one of the things that I tell to anybody is that legally, your therapist can't say, the only way your therapist can repeat your business if you are harm to yourself, if you're saying you're going to harm someone else, or if you have admitted to committing a crime. So anything other than that, if you like me, they can't say anything. And it's helped me because it just allows you to speak freely. And we need that. Because like I said, for so long, you know, when you're dealing with stuff, you think it's only you. Like you're the only one
Yeah.
dealing with. And sometimes you just need a voice of reason um that don't doesn't really know you, can't judge you. And it's been really freeing to me. So yeah, I believe in a black therapist, and the reason why I said black therapist is because I'm black, and I felt like I wanted to talk to someone. And she's a one of the great things about my therapist is she's a black woman and she's of the Christian faith, so she mixes the two. You know, she uses the tools, um, you know, the behavioral tools and things like that. But she also adds, you know, things related to our Christian walk. And so that has really, really helped me. So to anyone who's been on the fence about whether or not they should seek therapy, you know what's best for you. Don't let anyone around you
Mm.
degrade or demean you or make you feel like what you're feeling you shouldn't be feeling, or because you want to seek therapy that you don't know Jesus. Yeah, you know Jesus, but you need to talk to your therapist too. And so that's what uh that's how I see it.
And that's important. That's a big conversation that's been coming up a lot, especially in our community, because as you mentioned, we're always looking down or looking sideways at that person who says they have a therapist or, they want to talk about their feelings or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's important for us to just end that it's, that stigma, that negative look at going to see a therapist.
I'll say this, like you can be physically healthy if mentally
Mhm.
you aren't healthy. And so they work hand
Yep.
in hand. So you can't be this bodybuilder or whatever with this physique, but mentally you're falling apart and your life is in shambles. Because like I mentioned earlier, what's within you eventually will come out of you. And so because I'm gonna be honest, for a long time I thought that because the package was pretty, that all was well. And I was angry, I was bitter, I hadn't healed from heartbreak. And those things were destroying me. I couldn't become the woman who I am today because I didn't deal with the things that I had dealt with internally. I didn't grieve over the loss of my mother because I had a son 5 months later. And so it was a lot of things that I didn't deal with, y'all. And so therapy helped me a lot. And one of the things I always say this, the biggest compliment a person can give you, especially if it's someone who you haven't been around in a while, is wow, you've changed and for the better. Because I feel like we all should be growing and evolving. And one of the people that knew
Right.
me, years ago, she moved away and we ended up running into each other and, rebuilding our friendship. And she was like, you changed. And I said, okay, in what way? And she's like, no, like you're much calmer, you're more patient. And that is something that it's been a journey.
It's not always easy, right? So like you talk about this change, like how how are you maintaining everything, you know?
Again, going back to the relationship that I have with God, I don't believe there's religion and there's relationship. And so the relationship that I have with God is that, I'm able to say, look, let me just step back. Let me just take a step back and decompress. And I feel like those things
Mhm.
you need to. So for another thing that I dealt with before was mommy guilt. I felt like if I did anything for myself, it would take away from who I was as a mom. And so I wouldn't do
Mm,
anything for myself because, I was all I'm full mommy mode. I'm a single parent, so I'm the only one. So I had to be that person, right? So I thought. And so one of the things in during the course of therapy is that I learned that it wasn't something that was wanted, it was something that was needed. So I learned to be comfortable with stepping away from taking off my mommy hat and just being Shayla. And in doing that, if it's just a ride or a walk through the malls. I love candles. I love things for my house. So if it's just me smelling candles in Bath and Body Works, or me going to like Ross or TJ Maxx or Home Goods and just touching some linen, just that time away there. I'm serious, but it's there. It's all a part of the therapy process. And so just me stepping away and understanding that if I try to do everything, then what God here for? Like, so it's not on me to do everything. So sometimes I have to get out of my own way or take my hands off it. And, a lot of times God be like, I was waiting on you. You said you waiting on me. I was waiting on you to move so I could step in and do what I got to do. And so I just, I'm being honest. And so I've just learned that sometimes I have to step away. It doesn't make, because I'm trying to be more for myself, it doesn't make me less of a mom to my kids. And so
mm,
when I'm stretched thin, I can't be that mom that I need to be because, of course, when we stretch thin, we stressed, we overly anxious, and sometimes you'll end up taking some out on your child that you didn't mean. But because you're carrying it and you didn't decompress, that person, your child was right there. And so sometimes I just step out of the way and just be like, okay, let me come back and then I'll be better when I get back. And so that helps me. My relationship with God, me knowing that I can't do it all, that I have to let Him do it, and me understanding the things that I learned in therapy that me doing more for myself in some instances doesn't make me less of a mom to my children.
mm, mm. That's another powerful one because, yesterday was Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day.
Thank
But yeah, it's important as moms to remember that because they call you the super mom, they call you a strong black woman, they call you all these
you. Yeah,
titles, but at the end of the day, we need to step back at certain times and just take that time out for ourselves and not feel guilty.
true indeed. And one of the things that I learned when you said about the strong black woman, one of the things that
Mhm.
I learned about being strong is that one of the powerful things that attributes to strength is your ability to be vulnerable. And a lot of times people tell you you have to be strong, which means you can't show emotion, you can't cry, you can't say when something has hurt you or you're offended. And no. So one of the things that I learned with my relationship with God and my black therapist is that I can be strong and be vulnerable as well. And so don't let anyone, when they tell you, appreciate the fact that they called you a strong black woman because it takes a lot to hold that title. But understand that even in your strength, it's okay for you to be vulnerable and say when you're hurt and say when you're tired and say when you need a break. Because if you keep running, eventually you're going to end up being strong in stature, but weak in who you are as a woman. And so be okay with being strong and vulnerable because it's a balance. So I just wanted to say that too, because I was that person. I don't know if maybe someone else felt like that, but I used to be
Mhm.
like, I couldn't. I'm strong, so I couldn't show emotion. I couldn't cry. I couldn't say when someone hurt my feelings or offended me. And I learned that the exact opposite, that it actually takes more strength to be vulnerable than it does to not say anything.
That is another powerful statement. I mean, geez, like, yo, trust me, because usually when people say that, you look at a strong person and you would think they don't cry. Like they're good. Their back is always up.
Let,
They're always good, right?
let me tell you, they had that meme that say, "Got to make a decision. Either you gonna cry about it or you gonna pray about it." Actually, I'm gonna do both.
Mm.
I'm gonna pray about it, okay? Then I'm gonna pray on,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna get back up and go deal with it. How about that?
Mm.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
hold on to this person
Yeah.
about the vaccine. I took the Moderna vaccine. I felt vulnerable. Yet others tell me I'm weak for taking it. Rashad, is it? I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Rashad. Um, hold on just a second. I have to take this 1 second.
Okay. I mean,
Apologize. I have a 19-year-old
oh, that's
son who's
okay.
so I had to make sure he. But Rashad, I want to say this. I want to say this. Going back to what I mentioned earlier, you do what works for you, right? So if you want to
Hmm.
take the vaccine and make no apologies for taking the vaccine. That's what you choose to do. And
Right.
you're right, Rashad, man, that's something that isn't always accepted for men to show emotion and say how they feel. And so I'm raising two boys. I have a 19-year-old, that's the one who just texted me, and I have an 11-year-old who will be 12. And so one of the things that I'm trying to teach them is to say how they feel. Communication is key. And so I'm teaching my boys to say how they feel, because if not, they grow up to be men with bottled up emotions, and they're dealing with internal issues that they suppressed for so long. And so if you don't conquer and confront something, then it's always going to revisit you. And so that's one of the things that I'm trying to teach my children, my sons, is that say how you feel, because I don't want you to grow up as men having so much emotion bottled up in you, because it's frustration, it's rage, and it can come out in a different way. So I totally agree with you, Rashad, that some men do receive criticism um, when they express their emotions. And because I've seen the results of that, I'm trying to break the stereotype with my sons. And so hopefully, uh, I caught it in time. And, because I want my sons to be healthy Black men who are in touch with their feelings and emotions. And I don't want them to, just keep all that stuff bottled in. So I'm just trying to teach them, like, say how you feel. Like, we can talk about it. As long as we're respectful with one another, we can definitely talk about it.
Right. Yeah. And that's important too in our community because I feel like as a family, we can thrive together. Like as the Black female, the Black male, the Black children, the whole family unit would be able to thrive a little bit stronger if we speak more about our emotions, if we're more open. Oh my gosh, it froze. Hold on, let's see. Hopefully it'll come back right back. Let's just check it. But yeah, great conversation, right? So it's such an important topic for us to talk about communication because I feel like that is one huge factor that we seem to. Oh, there we are. I think you're back. I can't hear you though. Oh, oh, I'm not sure. Maybe she's gonna pop back in. But that's a big, big topic, right? So in our community, we talk about, how important it is, communication, and the like importance of making sure, I said that already, but like the importance of making sure that we can talk to each other properly, not only as husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, but as mother, sister, daughter, father, sister, daughter, son. The entire family needs to be able to communicate to each other on a different level with respect. So as she said, she's trying to make sure that, there's that level of respect and that we're able to communicate freely between each other. So important, so important. Um, but she's hitting on a lot of things. Oh, you're here? Okay, let me see. Oh, there you are. Okay. Let's see if it'll pop her in. Yeah, so it's so important for us to have that
Sorry, y'all.
communication.
I apologize
Factor.
for my phone.
Oh,
I'm in
there
the
you
other
are.
house. It's too much going on. But that's how you know that this conversation is needed. Um, because
Hmm.
the enemy is just trying so hard to stop it. And so one of the
It's
things that I
correct.
was
Yeah.
gonna say out was that you mentioned how powerful we can be as a unit, and that is so true. If you guys, I'm only speaking from my perspective because I'm African American, Black, but we have so much influence over what we have so much influence over our culture, and the things that we do transcend into other cultures, right? And so imagine if we like operated as a unit and we didn't see each other as competition, and we actually worked hand in hand as partners and said we're going to change the narrative together versus me
That's right.
seeing you or another woman or a man as competition. When we pull our resources together, there's so much power in numbers because everyone who's on the team can bring together um, something that another person on the team may not have. And so it's so powerful if we stick together. And even like with us as women, a lot of times you have the cattiness amongst other women who may be in the same field professionally as you, and you get that side eye, like, can I trust her, can I work with her? But if we came together
Right.
and actually work together as a unit, man, we can. Oh, that's a whole nother. I get excited when talking about something. I do.
No, it's very true. Very true. I feel like it is powerful to have that conversation and then to actually just start making it happen,
Right.
you know? But you're talking about a lot and I feel like it starts from within. So as an individual, if we start that healing from the inside out, like you're saying, then we're able to do the connections with others.
Definitely. It definitely is, because when you're confident in who you are as a person, there isn't anything another person can tell you to either to take away from who you are. And you wouldn't even want to
Right.
take away from who they are, because when you are so sure with who you are, like, and you see, areas in a person that may need improvement, instead of you wanting to tear down, you want to build up. And of course that starts
Right.
internally. Like, I wasn't always this woman who was all things positive, all motivation. And that's because I hadn't healed and done things internally within myself. And now that I know the power in words and I know how I felt when I was broken and how a person's words affected me, now I'm hell bent on building versus tearing down.
Yeah. So, so important. So talk to us about what motivates you because you're super motivated. You're out here, you got the t-shirts, you're doing the fitness, you're putting your faith first. It's definitely inspiring. Tell us what motivates you.
So one of the things that motivates me, for one, is my own internal instinct. I want to do things for me. But one thing that I've learned is that you won't always be motivated. You have to have discipline. And so when motivation isn't there, you have to be disciplined enough to say, okay, I don't feel like it today, but I'm gonna still do it. Of course, my children, because I want to change the narrative with them and show them that, they can do and be things bigger than they've seen or have been exposed to. And so I use those two things. And then I have my friends who see me, and you don't even realize people are watching you because you just get up every day and do it. Like, for instance, journey. I just would get up every day and do it. I didn't even feel like I was doing anything special or anything like that. And I just would post it because, I mean, in social media, I just would post it. But I didn't realize that, you know, women were watching and saying, thank you so much for showing. Because I used to be over 300 pounds, but now I'm close to being under 200 pounds. I've lost 100 pounds already. Uh, yeah. I don't really numbers, but
It's
I mean,
so
talking
good.
about it, but I never really mentioned the fact that the number because I don't look at the scale. But I've lost over 100 pounds. I'll just say that. But I didn't realize people were watching, and so just staying motivated in what I wanted to do for me, in addition to my children. But if we can be honest, like I mentioned, every day you won't be super motivated, but you have to have
Mhm.
that discipline to say, okay, I'll still get up and do it, even though I don't feel like it, even though today is not a good day. Um, you just have to push past the pain and do it.
Yeah, it's so important. So important to make sure that you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Well, big up yourself on that one. That is huge. You say it so casually, but that is something you definitely need to celebrate.
I do
Good for
feel
you.
like I'm supposed to be doing it, so I don't really mention it as much. So I just feel like I'm supposed to be doing it, and I just do it. Why my phone going black?
Wow,
I just
that's
do it.
great. Um, mhm. So what are some keys that you would like to share with us if you would about like staying consistent? Like what are some things that we could remember when we are embarking on a fitness journey or deciding to, step out on faith and do something? What can we remember?
One of the things I always say is remember your why. It doesn't matter actually whether it be fitness, whether it be business, whether it be personal, whatever you're embarking on that is new for you, or it may not be new, you're revisiting it. Just remember your why. And I always say if your why doesn't make you want to do something, then that's not your why, or that's not what you're supposed to be doing. And so remember why you started. Remember why you got back up. Um, remember, but again, it starts in your mind. So sometimes, you'll deal with things in life and it'll kind of cloud your thought pool, and you may need a reminder of who you are. Remember who the heck you are and show up as that person.
Mm.
Remember who you are, know who you are, but again, it starts in your mind. So when you know who you are, you're clear on your assignment and you're hell bent on getting it done. You're going to come across people who don't understand why you're doing what you're doing. They don't agree with what you're doing. They may not even support what you're doing. But there's this meme going around saying that you don't need everybody else's approval, because when God had the conversation with you, he was talking to you. He didn't add nobody else on the line. So when you know who you are, you know why you're doing what you're doing, you're going to keep doing whatever you need to do in order to make it happen and bring it to pass. But that starts here. Block out the naysayers. Everybody won't understand it. I have a post on my page, and this is something that I had to tell myself. Stop asking people who haven't gone anywhere to tell you how to get where you're trying to go. Because how can they help you go where you're trying to go if they haven't been nowhere? They can't help you do nothing if they ain't even try to do it for themselves. So look at the people who you're asking how or why. They can't tell you how to build no house if they're not a carpenter. You're not gonna ask. Would you ask a surgeon how to cook a steak? I'm just, that's just what you
Yep,
would you wouldn't ask, you
yep,
would ask a surgeon how to build a house if they never did it. So why are you asking your homegirls or your friends who not even motivated in their own lives to keep you motivated or to help you get motivated? You can't.
right, right.
Sorry.
Very, no, that's very very important things to remember. Um, and then, of course, we are here, we're two Black women.
Mhm.
We spoke briefly about it before, but what does like women empowerment mean to you, especially in our community?
Oh, sure. Women, I'll say this, and I mentioned this before, but I was doing women empowerment before it was a thing or it had a name. I was just encouraging the women around me. And so then, it became kind of popular and it had a name, and they were like women's empowerment and stuff like that. And so I was doing it before it was a thing. I've always been that friend uh, that if you came to me and you said you wanted to do something, why are you not doing it? Or you need to start doing it. And so I've always been an encourager of the people. But your passion and your purpose and allow it to be one of your paychecks. And so because I am who I am, because this is authentically me, like I said, I apologize for the going in and out and stuff, but that's who I can't, my kids. So when they call, but I'm showing up as I am. I don't know how to be anyone else. And I've always been that girl who has encouraged her friends. And so God just allowed me to he enlarged my territory and allowed me to do the same things that I've been doing for years before it had a name, before it was popular, and put me in rooms that I never thought I would be in, and have me seated at tables that for so long I didn't even think I belonged at. But he has the ability, the innate ability, to take the least of them and put them with the best of them. And so I was one of the ones that was considered the least. And I'm sitting at these tables with these individuals, and I'm like, okay, but okay, I don't know why I'm here, but God, I'll still show up. And so empowerment for me is it's just who I am. And I know that women's empowerment now, it has this ugly stigma to it. And so I always try to steer clear of that. And I'm always authentic in who I am. And that's the only person that I can show up as. I know, there's this mean girl stigma and things that may come along with it. But again, that goes back to, us not sticking together, because if we come together and do this, your audience, I don't know your audience and you don't know my audience, but doing things like this introduces us to the different audiences and people that may or may not have known us or gotten an opportunity to hear us speak. And so collaboration is key. One of the things that I believe in is discernment. And so I'm not easily drawn to everybody who says, hey, I want you to come on my platform and speak. I turned down a lot of those things where I'm like, nah, I'll get back to you. But it was something about in what you said, or just that line of communication, that my discernment was like, okay, yeah, you can. It's okay to go on that platform and speak, because I don't always I don't always I I don't always accept the speaking things, because my spirit has to connect. I'm not led by popularity or fame or a dollar. Um, I'm motivated by the spirit that connects me with an individual.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm honored, honestly, to have you on the show talking about all this great stuff. Very fruitful conversation. So,
I,
thank God definitely for connecting us.
and I want to say this, I'm honored as well for the opportunity, because again, I just show up on my page and, share thoughts and things that I tell myself, or sometimes I share. A lot of things that I share is from the text messaging app, or whatever God gives me in the moment to just say, hey, put this into the atmosphere. So I'm honored for the opportunity, for you to even say, hey, I want to, collab with Shay, and I want Shay to come on. I think she may have some things that she, would be able to share with my viewers. So I never take these opportunities lightly. But I appreciate it. And I just want to say, I know I technically I don't have to, but I do want to apologize for the going in and the going out. But like I said, I have a 16-year-old,
Oh, that's okay.
19-year-old black son who's driving, and I like when he calls, I just go to mommy mode, and I'm like, I have to see what's going on with him. But I do want to apologize to you and the people who are on the live in that. But again, I'm a mommy first, everything second, and so I had to make sure everything was okay with my son.
Oh, it's all good.
Thank
It's
you.
all good. I totally get it. I totally get it. Um, but definitely want to know what else you have coming up, how we can get in touch with you. Like, how do we sign up for these text messages? Like, how does it all work?
Sure.
Let us know.
I do have some. I just got back from vacation. I hadn't taken a vacation since 2019 because of COVID, and so I was like, maybe
Well, yeah.
I just wanted to take um a vacation with my kids, and so I just got back with vacation. But now it's like back to pedal to the metal mode. So I do have some. I will be creating. Well, I've already created the design. I will be. Um, I can't even think of the word, but I will be coming up. What I have coming up is I have some Father's Day statement teas that I will be introducing, because a lot of times I speak from a from a woman's perspective because I'm a woman, but some of the men that buy T-shirts for their wives and especially ladies in their lives, they're like, well, what about us? So I will be introducing some Father's Day theme statement tees for the men because I want to encompass black men and women with my brand. So that's some of the things that I have coming up as it relates to t-shirts. Right now, one of the ways that you guys get in contact with me is, of course, this is my business page, shop_I am Shay C. My website, if you guys would like to shop or to see, just check out, my merchandise and what I have going on. It's www.iamshayc.com. There's a link in my bio on this page, and you can either go directly to my website. You can sign up for my email list and get a free 5-day affirmation ebook, or you can sign up. You can also sign up to receive the daily motivational text messages that I send out every day. If you'd like to get in contact with me, you can send me a message via DM, or you can email me at info at iamshayc.com. And so those are the ways that you guys can get in contact with me. You're welcome to sign up for my freebies, shop my website. You can like, friend, follow my page, check out some of the posts that I've posted, and just see if it speaks to you. And if it does, I appreciate you. And if it doesn't, I still appreciate you.
Hmm. That's phenomenal. Do you guys ship to Canada?
We will be. Right now,
Okay.
give me 24. Well, give me as soon as this is over with. I actually was supposed to do this because I had someone to DM me from Canada while I was on vacation.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't see that you're shipping to Canada, and because I was on vacation, I didn't do it. But by the end of tonight, Canada will be added because I didn't even realize, like, that was so amazing to me, that someone from Canada would email me and they're like, I'm on your site, I want to shop with you, but I don't see that you ship to Canada. And I was like, what? I was just listen. I was taken aback by that, and that goes back to my mindset. Like, I'm thinking local, and God is like, I want to bring you global, right? And
Oh,
so
yeah.
I promise you, by the end of the night, um, I will have Canada added to my site. I can assure you of that, and that's major.
Yes, that's huge. That's
Yeah.
great. That's good news. So we are out here in Canada. We need to, make sure we are supporting you in any way that we can. So we definitely want to make sure that we're getting our t-shirts out here too. You know what I mean? So we could rep Shacy.
I appreciate. On just one second.
Great. Okay, so you get the last word. Let me know if you have like a motivational. Oh gosh, we just froze. Let's see what happens here. But that's great, guys. Like, look at that. What timing, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, you're back. All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I definitely
That's
appreciate it.
okay.
Again, is this the conclusion of it? I just want to be sure.
Yeah. Yes, I just wanted to ask you if you have like a motivational quote or anything that you want to share with the masses.
Um, Let's see. Well, since we talked a lot about mindset, I mentioned this earlier, and I'll just share it again for those of you who may have not been on. But your outlook, I shared this earlier, but I'll share it again. Your outlook on anything will determine your outcome with everything. And so how you look at it will determine how you're going to come out of it. And so just try. It may be hard. Listen, I want to let me make this statement and be perfectly clear. I'm not always walking around like hella positive and perky and excited. And please don't think that. But positivity doesn't eliminate problems, but positivity allows you to deal with your problems, right? And so that's why I try to keep myself in a good headspace. So just keep a good outlook on things, and more than likely you should have a successful outcome. So just fight. Just fight. Like you literally have to just fight for it. I don't know how else to describe it, because I know Amazon Prime is delivering everything, but success will not be delivered by the Amazon Prime man or the UPS person, whoever your delivery service is. But just keep a good head. Just try to keep yourself in a good headspace. If you need therapy, seek therapy. If you need to speak to someone, talk. Don't hold those if you're having any negative feelings or emotional things, don't hold it in. But that's my mantra, that your outlook on anything will determine your outcome with everything. That's it.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. I just want to thank you again for jumping on with me tonight. It was great. I appreciate all those gems that you were dropping here. It was definitely something we gotta, there's a lot of tips that we've got to think about and just remember within ourselves who we are and how we can, and as Metro Mix says here, remember who you are because you can't run away from yourself. So just about being real.
Yes.
Hmm.
I always say own your truth. Own your truth. And in doing that, you're owning the good and bad parts of your story. So when you own your truth,
Yeah,
you can tell your story and be transparent. And when you own your truth, people can't hold it against you. Because I always say
that's right.
that I tell my story, because if I let somebody else control my narrative, they're going to paint me out as a victim. But if I tell my story, I not only control my narrative, but I tell them how God gave me the victory. And so that's why I own who
Right.
I am, and I talk about those things, the ugly part. I put a post up today that says, tell the ugly parts of your story, because the ugly parts of your
Mm.
story are what makes your story so powerful and impactful, because someone else is dealing with the exact same thing that you're dealing with. And they may be like I was. I'm alone in this. No one will understand. But the Bible says that we're overcomers by the words of our testimony. So our story is only a part of the testimony, right? So own your truth, tell your story, and control your own narrative is another thing that I would say. I live by that. That was an excellent point. Excellent. I love
Yeah.
that one.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll definitely be in touch,
Yeah.
and we're looking forward to those t-shirts out here in Toronto. So just let us know when you're good to go,
I
and I'll make sure I put it on my
I'll
page.
definitely send you a DM to let you know that shipping to Canada will be available. But like I said, I'm gonna check in with my son, and then I'll work on that before the night. As an entrepreneur, it's no longer 9 to 5, it's 9 to 25 or whatever. But thank
Yep.
I just want to say I enjoyed the opportunity. I enjoyed the feedback for your audience, and I wish all of you much success in everything that you put your hands to. The Bible says that wherever the soles of our feet tread, that it's blessed. So instead of us going to different things looking for a blessing, God said the blessing arrives when we arrive. So I wish all of you much success in everything that you have going on. If you haven't started, start now. If do it afraid, do it broke, do it alone. just make sure that you get up and do it, and you don't become like one of those individuals that is in the graveyard full of potential. Release all of your potential now while you're here. And again, many thanks to you and your platform. I'm honored that you allowed me to come on, and I look forward to speaking to you and your audience again. So good night, and God bless you all.
Yes. Good night and God bless. Take care.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Wow, guys. Yes, another great show, right? My gosh, she was speaking about so many powerful things that we need to remember, especially the one thing I want to, like, we were talking about this last week too, but about those ordered steps, guys. When you start to just move in the direction that you should move, doors will fly open for you. Like fly open for you. You won't even realize. You'll be like, how is all this happening? So much value is right. So much value. She was just speaking on everything that we need to hear. Get up, make sure that you're doing what you got to do, put your best foot forward every single day. You know what I mean? Even when you don't want to, understand that there's that discipline factor that is a must. You got to be disciplined. You got to say to yourself, you know what, today I want to lay in my bed. The bed feels nice. Just got a new, mattress, whatever it is. You got to get out that bed, get that exercise in. Make sure you stay committed to your faith, stay committed to your goals, but most importantly, stay committed to yourself. Don't break your commitments to your commitments. You are what it takes. As she said, the blessing arrives when you arrive. The blessing arrives when you arrive. You know what I mean? Um, I'm telling you, social media unites people. I like you guys. I'm pretty sure I told you guys this. Like I would like when I decided that I was gonna just do things a little bit differently in my life, things just started happening. I just start this. This all just started with a blog, me writing a blog and pressing send on my phone to all my contacts. Then I linked up with somebody who put me in the Unity Studios, right? And then I linked up with somebody else who's just like, you should do this interview. Then the interviews turned into this because of the COVID-19. We're doing it here. Now I've been able to connect with so many different people from here to the States, to globally. We were even in Africa the other day, right? And then somebody's like, you know what, maybe you should do a summit. Then I'm gone on the summit now. Like when you just decide to walk in a direction that you haven't um, done before, when it's all ordered steps. I believe like God has these ordered steps for you. You just have to walk out in faith. And he doesn't lay out the plan for you. You may have all these plans. You may think this is okay. Trust me, I write my plans out in my book all the time. And things don't go according to plan all the time. Like this wasn't in the books. Like this wasn't in the plan. You know what I mean? But he will just like bust open some doors for you, floodgates, like no tomorrow. So just step out in faith, man. Step out in faith. I really believe the blessing is already there. 100%. Your blessing is already there. You were born with it. You were born with it. And of course, I'm all about this collaboration. We have to collaborate with each other. We have to make it work. You know what I mean? My blessing is not your blessing because it's mine. So me being blessed and we can all be blessed at the same time. Because guess what? When we all arrive, all of us here together, the blessing arrives when we arrive. So that means your blessing arrives with you. My blessing arrives with me. His blessing, or like we can all be blessed at the same time, right? There is no competition, especially when you're working on being consistent with yourself, doing what you've got to do. You don't have time. You don't have time. So my gosh, what a phenomenal conversation. I just love these conversations that we are having. It just makes me feel real great. It just makes me feel like, you know what? There are so many other people in the world that are on the same tip. And I feel like things are changing. You know what I mean? Things are changing. People are uniting. And we've got to use this social media for our benefit. Like, last week we were talking to Elaine, and she was talking about social media and how we can use social media to connect with each other. And this is what we really need to do. We need to use these platforms to do what we've got to do, make sure that we're doing it in a positive light, and we could change some stuff out here. We could make a wave. It's all up to us. It's all up to us. So I just want to encourage you guys, go out there, do your thing. Remember that you are the blessing. You are the blessing. You come with the blessing. Anywhere you go, you're blessed. Your feet are blessed. You have ordered steps. Walk in faith. Do what you got to do. All right. Next week, it's the 17th already of May next week, like May 17th, and then it's May 2 for weekend, and then it's the summit weekend, okay? So make sure that if you haven't registered for the summit, you are slipping, get your registration in, check my post, see the flyer, repost it, hashtag a seat at our table, hashtag, raffle, whatever, giveaways, all that good stuff. Make sure you guys enter to win the draw, all right? But we will be at the table on Saturday, May 22nd from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. just talking to a bunch of phenomenal individuals, phenomenal advertisers. We have this is something that's a little bit different from the last summit that we're doing, but we have some live performances. I'm really excited about it. And just all around greatness, excellence, expertise. Make sure you guys have your book, your notepad and pen, because just like these shows, we're going to be dropping mad gems all day. So if you are not on Zoom or you don't feel comfortable watching off of Zoom, no problem. I'm going to have it on YouTube as well. If you miss some of the show, you definitely can go back on my YouTube page and rewatch it again. All right, guys. So have a blessed week. Stay blessed, stay good, and don't you forget that as you walk, you are a blessing wherever you go. Make sure that your mouth speaks the blessing. Make sure your hands are operating, doing the work as a blessing, and your feet are going in the right places. Walk in faith. All right.